Welcome back to Sean's show, everybody. Give it up for yourselves for coming out. We have an incredible show. I'm here with George.
Hello.
The best producer in the whole wide world. I am broadcasting to you from the best city in the whole wild world. We are live from Tel Aviv. Things are going very well. And I want to say, before we begin, I am a stand-up comedian, seanreillycomedy.com. I'm going to be in Austin, and I'm going to be in Dallas this year. So come see me live. I will do jokes to your face. So come check it out. We have a great show for you. Lots of news. It was a very big news week, and we're going to get into it. I want to start with the bad news. I have to break some bad personal news to you guys. I didn't get the job at Blackstone. And I did something yesterday that I'm not proud of, but it's something that you can't blame me too much for because it's something that we've all wanted to do. Now, I don't know about you. I am at the end of my rope when it comes to applying for jobs. I am at the end of my rope. I'm at the end of my bridge. I'm at the end of my sanity. I'm at the end. I am at the end. Whenever I interview for a job, the first interview it goes great. They go, Sean, we love you. You're the best candidate we've ever had. I'm like, please stop. They're like, you're so smart. You're so smart. We want to move you forward. And I'm like, okay, great. What does that mean? Does that mean one more interview? Does that mean I talk to the CEO and then he's, his name is John and he looks at the color of my skin and I get the job? Is that what happens? And they go, no. They go, I'm sorry, Sean, but what happens next is we have a case study. Now, I want to talk about these case studies, and I'm going to tie it back to the story because this is why this guy went to Blackstone with an AR. You want to know why this guy the reason he actually went to Blackstone with an AR, it's actually kind of a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode because he was a 27-year-old guy from Vegas who I believe wanted to be in the NFL. And for some reason, his NFL dreams didn't work out. Maybe he had some CTE. And he went to the building where the NFL HQ is in Manhattan. Now, he went in with an AR, and he did something very sad. And I want to say before we continue that I don't condone violence. I don't want anyone loses their life. It's tragic. It's very sad. But we can't deny the comedy in this, which is that he went into the building, I believe, and I'm speaking speculatively here, I believe with the intention of shooting up the NFL HQ. But what actually happened is he went to the wrong floor and murdered people that are actually bad. So it kind of worked out. Hey, I like football. If this guy went to the floor of the NFL and shot all these people that just managed football, I'd be like, fuck this guy, you fucking loser. And that was his intention. But what actually happened is he hit some people that like to take. He hit some people. He murdered a Blackstone executive. He murdered a Blackstone executive on accident. Now, when you read the news, a lot of it's one would think, and that's what I thought too. One would think that if you go to the Blackstone floor, the 33rd floor of this building with an AR-15, you're going there with some purpose. I guess he went there on accident. Now, I want to say this. I have cards on the table. Applied to work at Blackstone. But you know what? I'm going to keep it real with you guys. If you apply to work at Blackstone and you get that job, you are a smart individual, probably well-educated, and ultimately you have to know what you're signing up for. And that is all I want people to know. When you get a job with Satan, you can't be surprised when Satan comes knocking. Okay? When your entire job is being a vampire on the economy, you can't be surprised when a vampire comes to suck your blood. And that's the hard truth. And it's not the truth that people want to say right now. I'm kind of actually so I actually applied for a job. I don't know how much detail I want to give. But basically, there was a small chance in another world, I'll say it this way. In another world, your boy Sean Riley, who you're listening to right now, could have been in that building in Blackstone. And I could be dead. I could have died in this, and I'm stealing valor. This is like my 9/11. This is Wall Street Bros 9/11. This is, well, actually, no, that was 9/11. This is Wall Street Bros' second 9/11. I'm going to lie. You know what? I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to lie. When people like mention this story for the rest of time, I'm going to be like, I was there. I'm just going to say that just for fun. Be like, dude, remember when that guy shot up Blackstone and NFL's HQ building? I was there. I was there, man. What? Did you work at Blackstone? Yeah, kind of. I applied to work there when I was 17. So let's go into the story. We have lots of see, I'm just as you guys can see my tabs on the screen there. It says real estate investing bookmark folder. So you guys know that I'm as bad as I don't actually own any real estate. Just so you know, that tab that says real estate investing, it's actually a plan to. It was actually my plan to. This guy made it. This is actually a plan to shoot up. It's actually a plan to shoot up Blackstone. It's a cover. So let's see. Quick updates here. I want to share something from a paragraph. Lots of new updates, but the headline is Midtown gunman's note referred to NFL and brain trauma, police say. The shooter killed, this is the New York Times. The shooter killed 4 people, including a police officer in a Park Avenue tower. A note was found in his wallet, which referred to the league, which has offices in the building. Let's keep going down. We are talking about Gaza later, just so you know, so stay tuned for that. And Epstein. So here is the latest. Investigators on Tuesday were focused on whether a gunman had been targeting the headquarters of the NFL when he burst into the office tower in Midtown Manhattan, killing 4 people, including a police officer. Very scary. Now, I want to say when this story first broke, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys because I have nothing to hide. When this story broke and I found out that a guy went into the Blackstone headquarters with an assault rifle, I started playing Celebration by Kool and the Gang at my apartment. I turned it on and I started dancing. I'm sorry. And then my girlfriend was like, that's not funny. A police officer is dead. That police officer probably had a family. And I slowly decreased the volume on Celebration. But that's kind of like, here's the thing. I thought it was like a Luigi. I thought this was Luigi 2.0. When I read about the story, I'm like, oh my God. You know, the CEO of Blackstone is dead. I thought that this guy, here's the thing. When you go crazy, a lot of people, they direct their anger towards the people that aren't actually behind the scenes making things bad. They go to the White House. You know, they go to, I don't know, they go to Target. Don't go to Target. So when I read about this story and this guy took an assault rifle to Blackstone, I'm like, God damn. This is a guy that did his research. Okay? Most people don't even know the difference between Blackstone and BlackRock. And I've designed this entire show and put in all this energy just to tell you guys that they're different. BlackRock and Blackstone are different, okay? BlackRock, they have what are called ETF. I'm just like explaining. I'm like explaining this and I get like, you just see a bunch of bullets go in my chest. See the difference between, and that's those are the conversations that are happening right now online, a lot of people are literally celebrating. So a Blackstone executive did die. A woman that worked at Blackstone died. She was like a real estate partner at Blackstone, and she's dead. And a lot of people on the internet are celebrating her death just because she had a $7 million penthouse in the Upper East Side. They're celebrating her death. And a lot of people are online saying, well, you know, that's what you get. And I said that earlier. But this is a tough story. This is a very tough story. Now, this is what happens. I mean, who's to blame for this? Is it podcasters like me that tacitly endorse violence? You know, I'm in a way, I'm actually, there's this thing called stochastic terrorism. Have you heard of that? Stochastic terrorism is where you have an audience and you say things that indicating that people should do certain things. And stochastic is just a fancy word for statistical. It's odds, chance. So if you have, let's say, 20 million listeners, and you say something like, you know, I don't get, you know, I'm just going to choose a random group of people, white men. That wasn't random. But, you know, it's like, you know, you say certain things degrading a certain group of people. If you have a big enough audience, then certain people may take that to heart and go actually commit violence against the people that you are endorsing violence against. Now, I am not a stochastic terrorist because I have 20 listeners. And if you've taken statistics, you need at least 25 people for a good sample size. So that's my legal defense. If anyone, this is kind of my fault. I'm scared. I was kind of scared. I am scared of the day that like someone shoots up Blackstone and they find out that and they go to in his phone and they're like, he was listening to this show called Sean's Show. That's how my show is going to get big. It's going to be listened to by someone that shoots up Blackstone. And then it's going to be like, yeah, this guy on YouTube was just like crazy talking to this super small audience of people with CTE. So he had CTE. So who's to blame? It's the NFL. Again, we blame, we know who to blame. We can blame the NFL. Mayor Eric Adams said on Tuesday morning that the authorities have, quote, reason to believe that he was focused on the NFL, which has offices in 345 Park Avenue. A 3-page note found on the gunman mentioned the league, as well as the man's claim that he had the degenerative brain disease, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, from playing football. The note asks that his brain be examined for signs of CTE and accuses the league of concealing the dangers of the game. Damn. Can we, I mean, you know, this is really interesting to think about, guys, because football, because it's kind of ironic, because I believe, you know what, let's look this up. Can you just type in Blackstone NFL investment? Because this is a very interesting, this could be connected. I may be wrong here. Let's see here. How about that one? Blackstone CVC step back from NFL. Boom! I'm connecting the dots, aka creating a conspiracy that's not real. Wow, okay. When was this? November 2020. Was that? I can't read the November 2020. 22? 2025. November 2025? Or May 22, 2025. Oh, May 22. So guys, this is a story from May of this year, and the headline reads, Blackstone steps back from NFL investment consortium. So I'm connecting it all, okay? So listen to this. Blackstone and CVC Capital Partners have exited a private equity consortium that had secured preliminary clearance from the NFL to acquire minority stakes in franchises, according to a report by Bloomberg. Wow. So Blackstone was about to invest in the NFL, and they did not. They backed out of it earlier this year. Now, I wonder why. Maybe it was because Blackstone didn't want to be involved with maybe it wasn't, let's be honest. It was because it wasn't enough money involved, which I don't know how that's possible because the NFL is huge. People love football. Maybe not. Maybe it's becoming, some people are like, NFL is becoming less popular. I don't know. Either way, this guy wanted to be I really relate. This is bad. I really relate to this guy that shot up Blackstone. I really relate to the guy that shot up Blackstone on accident. Because here's the thing. I'm like this guy, but it's flipped. Because I've wanted to work at Blackstone my whole life. And I would go crazy, and I'd accidentally shoot up the NFL. I'd kick down the door and be like, which one of you motherfuckers denied my resume? All I wanted to do was to be a private equity associate. And they're like, dude, I'm a I work for the NFL. I'm like, what? And they're like, please don't kill me. I'm like, what floor is this? They're like, it's the 34th floor, man. I'm like, ugh. Ding. And I like spray above their heads. Like that's what happened to this guy. This guy, and we won't show the photo. It's online. I think I saw a photo of this guy on the floor after he shot himself in the Blackstone offices. And, this is actually a PSA for how bad CTE can get. Because this guy had a plan to go to the NFL HQ. What actually happened is because his CTE was so bad that he didn't even realize he wasn't even on the right floor. And he went after the wrong people. And so that's really, really unlucky. It's really it's lucky for some and unlucky for others because, people don't know. People, again, I think it's time in our culture. This is very important that we clarify the difference between Blackstone and BlackRock. BlackRock is they manage 4 billion trillion cajillion. I think they manage like 4 trillion. I don't even know, trillions of dollars of money. Okay, Blackstone, they manage like 400 billion. They're not even that big. They manage $400 billion. That's not that much. That's not that much money. Okay, this is the little guy. When people say, Sean, don't you care about the little guy? I go, of course I do. Small and medium-sized hedge funds. Those are people that I really care about. But people don't know the difference, and a lot of people are saying, oh, this guy shot up BlackRock. I'm like, no, he didn't shoot up BlackRock. He shot up Blackstone. They're different companies. Blackstone is also like a grill maker. Blackstone also there's a different company called Blackstone that manufactures grills. Maybe this guy burned his steak and he wanted to shoot up. So there's lots of confusion right now about this story. I think that ultimately, let's keep going down and see if there's any other meat to this story. It's very sad. 4 people are dead. It's sad. It's very sad. It's terrible when innocent people die. Okay, this is fucked up, I'm going to say. I think here's the take. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some very bad news. A man entered the Blackstone and NFL high-rise, 345 Park Avenue, and tragically, 3 innocent people and a Blackstone executive are dead. So pour one out. 3 innocent people and a partner at Blackstone have died. And we need to take a moment of silence for the 3. The 3! Honestly, the guy that shot up the building is innocent too. He had CTE. You can't blame a guy for shooting a building up if he has severe CTE. You know what CTE is? It stands for Coca-Cola. This show sucks. All right. The police officer who was killed was working in uniform while off duty. So I guess a cop was shot. Can you keep scrolling down? I mean, I don't know if there's anything else to the story here. Is this going to change anything? No. Are NFL players going to keep getting CTE? Yeah. The 3-page, it's a suicide note. The 3-page suicide note where the shooter wrote in pen, as request to, quote, study his brain and that football gave me CTE, was folded in his wallet. Okay, so we have that. One of the sheets of paper he used appeared to be a piece of stationery with the words, "My daily affirmations," printed at the top, officials said. Another page had, "Plan, pause, reflect, and flourish." That's what I say every day. I can't relate more to this guy. Plan, pause, reflect, flourish. You think he was saying that as he was shooting in the lobby? One, plan, pause, reflect, flourish. Plan, pause, reflect, flourish. So football gave him CTE. You know, it's CTE affects us all. And like, I mean, we'll move on in a sec, but like, I really relate to this guy because in a lot of ways, I have CTE too. Not actually, but like, I have chronic autistic bitterness, okay? Because I'm a loser. All of my friends are rich. All of my friends are rich and they have great lives. And this guy probably wanted to go into the NFL. You know what's so crazy? Is that, like, I don't have too much sympathy for this guy. He is a murderer. Well, he's dead now. But, like, think about it, guys. Think about, like, dedicating your entire life. Think about dedicating your entire life to just a singular goal of like, being in the NFL. That's all you want to do is be a professional football player. You don't reach that goal. That's already devastating. Okay? And then on top of that, you realize that in the process of trying to achieve your dream, you acquired an irreversible degenerative brain disease. So not only did you like, oh, it was worth it, CTE was worth it because I'm in the NFL. You can't even say that. All you are is a 27-year-old guy bumping around, putzing around Las Vegas with CTE. And every day that passes, your anger festers. Every day that passes, maybe you knew a few guys that actually made it to the NFL. And you thought, I'm stronger than those guys. I'm faster than those guys. Where's my NFL contract? You know, it's hot. It's too hot out. That's what I would say. My girlfriend told me this story. She was like, someone shot up a building in Midtown. I'm like, it's really hot out. That is honestly, that's black. You know, I don't want to, the conspiracies are for the other stories. Here's a story where there's no conspiracy. People are like, for a sec, my friend and I were like, could this be Mossad? Could this be a distraction from Epstein and Gaza? But like, someone was like, hey, dude, didn't you? Someone told me someone told me this story. They were like, Sean, did you see that a shooter walked into a high-rise building and murdered people in Manhattan, in Midtown Manhattan with an AR rifle? Can you believe how fucking crazy that is? Yesterday, there's helicopters swirling. I'll be like, well, yeah, it was like 98 degrees. Well, yeah, it was like the humidity's crazy. That's my go-to response for everything. Is when people like, what's up, George?
I was gonna say there.
What was the?
There is a statistically significant correlation between shootings and warmer temperatures.
There you have it.
That's legit.
There you have it. I didn't even know that. That's how real. That's what happens when you're real, folks. When you are really real, The truth, the real statistical correlation. And by the way, I want to say, it's actually very hard to prove that something is statistically significant. And it's just another reason to stay inside when it's hot. When it's hot, that's like the same thing as like firing people on Friday. You want to fire people on Friday because it gives them the 2 days to like reflect and decompress. If you fire someone on a Monday, guess what they're going to do on Tuesday? They're getting an assault rifle. So we grieve and we mourn. This is not even a joke. I'm not even being sarcastic. It's fucking sad. People are dead. But you know, this is a comedy show and we try to make things funny. A Blackstone executive is dead, and I want to do a quick. We'll move on to Gaza next, but I want to do a quick moment of silence for the Blackstone executive that was murdered yesterday in Manhattan, not that far from where we are right now. So I just want to do a quick moment of silence. All right, moving on. That was enough. That was enough silence. So let's talk about Gaza. I don't have any stories here. I just wanted to talk about it. But I guess the big story is that they are now it's finally becoming popular and it's finally becoming fashionable to say it's fine. The tide is turning. The tide is turning when it comes to the Israel-Palestine conflict. It is finally fashionable to say publicly that maybe there's some people in Gaza that are a little hungry. That is fashion. It's finally okay to come out and say, hey, I don't know if anyone else is seeing this or if I'm crazy, but it seems like the people there are maybe a little parched. Maybe they're hungry. That's like fine. That's where we're at. That's where we're at in the culture is celebrities can finally come and say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at what's happening on the news and I'm seeing these videos of these massive crowds of people crammed in between two fences with a bunch of IDF soldiers trained on them with assault rifles as they all fight for bags of flour. And I saw that video and I was like, maybe we need to look at the way Israel's doing this. That's where we're at. Is like, you can't like to, but this tide is slowly turning. And now, as you know, I've always talked about this subject. I don't give a shit. I'm not, I'll say whatever's on my mind. And in this case, it's seeing these, and I didn't even make this point, if you don't mind me, George made a great point. He said the stakes of you have more to lose. Now there's more to lose by not speaking out. Now there's more to lose by not saying that there's a starvation and / genocide in Gaza. Now there's more to lose. So now you're going to see like all these celebrities come out and finally, and that's how this is Hollywood. That's how Hollywood works. It's like no one actually like says what they think until everyone that they respect says that thing. So now that like, I don't even know, I'm just going to choose a random celebrity. I don't even know if she's done it, but like, I don't know, Ariana Grande, like women like her. Let's see if Ariana, I don't even know. I just pulled one out of my ass. What is, and that's also what's fucking stupid is Americans are like, well, like, how does Ariana Grande think about the Middle East? What does Ariana Grande think? Hey, yes, she has an audience. Yes, she's, famous. Oh, she's one day ago. Ariana Grande speaks out for Gaza, urges, here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Ariana Grande speaks out for Gaza, urges immediate aid access. starving people to death is a red line. Hey, bitch! They crossed the red line a long time ago. What about bombing hospitals? How is that? And that's the thing. How is that where you draw the line? And let's not forget that a lot of people that are like, hey, that's not okay. You go to dinner with these people, you fuck. That's not okay. You go to dinner with Ivanka, not Ariana, but other people that I'm thinking of. You go to dinner with Jared Kushner and Ivanka. You know what? Let's do a little rule. If you go to dinner with Jared and Ivanka, I don't give a rat's fucking ass what you think about Gaza or Palestine. If you go to dinner with the Trump administration, what you say, and then the following week you go, hey guys, what Israel's doing is insane. You just had dinner with Israel. You had dinner with Israel. So what is that? So what's that? Do your values just change on a weekly basis? Be like me. My values change monthly, okay? I put some distance between when I change my values so that you don't notice. Be smart. Can't you guys, are these media figures and these podcasters and comedians, in some cases, a lot of people, they're like, they flip-flop on a weekly fucking basis. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know, I understand over years, if your views, I'm not even talking about Israel Palestine, if your views on I'm not even saying that your views are not allowed to change. And I'm also not saying that like it's bad that celebrities are now talking about it. I'm not saying that's bad, okay? But like, let's not give these people oxygen and give them this. Everyone's giving them so much oxygen and so much credit. And, you know, people are like, well, like, let's not criticize them because we don't want to shame people that are finally talking about it. No, actually, let's criticize and actually, no. Actually, let's do a little bit of criticism. Right? Because here's the thing, guys. I'm not rich. I'm not a celebrity. You know? And in some senses, I have nothing to lose. But like, I'm like, if anyone, like, no one has the excuse to like not talk about Gaza, and you know, like, I've not shied away from this topic. And so, like, if I'm thinking about it, well, like, on the one hand, you could frame it like, well, I have nothing to lose, right? But on the other hand, it's like, I don't have anything to lose. So like, you know, if the show was bigger and if I actually like had an audience, yeah, the stakes are higher. But guess what? You think that's going to stop me from like talking about this shit? And that's my issue with so many commentators and people, celebrities and, you know, commentators, podcasters, comedians, political commentators. They're like, they are the real people with nothing to lose, and they still don't talk about it. You're rich. The rich have nothing to lose. Yes, you have money to lose, but you gotta understand that like they're already rich. You can say, isn't that when you're allowed to say whatever you want? Isn't that the whole fucking point of this shit? Is that you make a lot of money so that you can say what the fuck is on your mind without the fear of, you know, losing sponsors? You're rich. Why do you have sponsors? It's bad. I mean, the actual situation there is insane, and you know, the Trump and Netanyahu are feuding. We're seeing a lot of I think this is just a topic where we're going to see a lot of people. I think the tide is finally turning. The tide is finally turning against Israel. It's finally a lot of people, and this is only going to be worse for Trump, because not only does Trump have to deal with the fallout of, here's the tough thing, guys. Not only does Trump have to deal with the fact that people think he raped kids, but now he also has to deal with the fact that he also has to manage a guy that likes to kill them. And that's the world we live in. Not me, but we, America, elected a guy who raped kids. And we are, as a nation, entrusting him with the responsibility and the burden of engaging with Israel, a country that loves to kill them. And so those are the two men, Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. Those are the two men that are pulling the strings right now. And they get to decide who lives and who dies, and I think people are really, this is the end of the American empire. I think this truly could be, the end of the American empire. I think we may be witnessing it, people, because when you have, maybe it's technology, I don't know. America's always committed war crimes. So this footage of, American contractors shooting at people in Gaza, it's heartbreaking and it's tragic. But we also did it in Vietnam. And so it's I guess what's the difference? People draw comparisons between Vietnam and Palestine as sort of historical parallels, because what the fuck were we doing there? What the fuck were we doing in Vietnam? Obviously it was so long ago that people don't even really understand the emotional weight of the Vietnam. I mean, I would call that a genocide too. We went to Vietnam and just shot child soldiers, right? Child soldiers. Isn't that a crazy phrase? Child soldier. I mean, it's just whenever I see a celebrity talking about Gaza now, I'm like, okay, great. Duh. Ariana Grande goes, starving children is a red line. So I guess if that's the red line, what was we crossed it, right? Your red line is starving kids. That's the red line, right? And Israel has crossed it. Now we're here. Let's back up 2 steps. What's this right here, Ariana? Ariana, dumb bitch. Is this bombing hospitals? And that's what I'm talking about. It's all of these steps, there's every step. Ariana, you've been alive. It's not like you're 1 day old. You've witnessed it like we've all witnessed it. You're on TikTok, right? And the reality is, the reason all of these celebrities are finally talking about Gaza, you know what? Maybe it's this. Maybe it's the actual issue, the explicitness of starvation. Maybe they love food. Maybe in order to empathize with kids, you need to see the food. Maybe it's a food thing. Is this a food thing? I'm not a foodie. I know a lot of people love food. Maybe it's like all of these fucking news stories. Israel bombed a hospital. Scroll. We've all done it. We all scroll when we see this shit. Israel bombed the hospital. Scroll. Israeli sniper shoots baby in head. Scroll. Gazans are starving. No! It's hold on. This is called, I'm not even the one to term this, to coin this. But what we have is manufactured outrage. Manufactured outrage. You want to look good. You want to stay popular. Conveniently sharing stories about Gazans starving also gets you headlines in the Hollywood Reporter. And that's kind of a nice upside, right? Now, sharing stories about the genocide gets you a story in the New Yorker. It gets you a story. And so now that it's strategically profitable to talk about it, people are finally talking about it, and it makes me fucking sick because you guys gotta understand, I work for Bain Consulting Group, and I'm working with Israel to solve all of this. I've been consulting with the IDF to solve this problem, and you guys are fucking it all up. So, I don't know. It's really crazy. And it's been a very, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm fucking speechless. Well, obviously I'm not. I love to talk, but I am speechless on this because, there's, I'm not perfect. I also want to say this. I don't like how preachy everyone is. I'm a hypocrite. I'm not perfect. I drink Starbucks. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's the only, no, I'm not even gonna say that. Sometimes guys, I see a Starbucks and I see a small business coffee. I'm in New York. Coffee's huge in New York. Sometimes I see a Starbucks next to a mom and pop coffee shop, a local small business coffee shop. And you know what I do? I go into Starbucks and I get a Frappuccino. And you think I like to look at myself in the mirror and you think I'm proud of that? You think I like doing that? You think I like drinking a venti mocha cookie crumble Frappuccino? Knowing that I could have gotten some dog shit small business piss for more money. There's unfortunately some of the companies in the military industrial Israel ecosystem genocide perpetuators, some of them make consistent products that I rely on for my life. So I'm not above you. I'm not above you morally. You know what I mean? Like, I am not perfect. And that's the thing. That's the thing is, like, everyone thinks that they're a good person. And I think that's the real problem with the world is, like, no one actually looks in the mirror and thinks they're bad. So that's how you get all of this crazy shit where you have, like, the Nelk boys interviewing Benjamin Netanyahu. Those guys saw that, and, like, so much of and if you aren't self-aware, here's the thing. I think if you're not self-aware and like you guys, I want you guys to know, you guys can, I hope that you feel like you can trust me as a commentator because I fucking hate myself. And I hate so many people. And I hate so much of what they do because of their actions, not because of their race or anything like that. I hate so many people and I hate so much of what I see in the media that I'm really trying hard to not become that. It's so people don't think. And a lot of people that aren't self-aware, they're like, hey, like, Benjamin Netanyahu's team hit us up. Like, wouldn't that be huge? Yo, like, what if we interviewed a war criminal? That's like media. I mean, I did that last week, but it's really sad. Sydney Sweeney, breaking news. Sydney Sweeney, not only does she have great tits, she's also a Nazi. Sydney Sweeney, we should actually watch. I forgot. We should actually watch this ad, and then we'll wrap shortly. So Sydney Sweeney did this ad with American Eagle, where she let's watch the ad and then we'll talk about it, because this is also a very culturally important, culturally relevant thing. Very, very wild ad that, you know, I'm also giving her oxygen by talking about it on the show. But we have to watch the ad because it just makes my blood boil, and I think it's hilarious at the same time. Now, and if you haven't seen this, you might also watch this and let me know if you think that she's a Nazi. Because this is very, a lot of people on the, let's watch the ad and then we'll discuss, because this is a video. Remember in school when like you went to class and then there'd be like the TV and you're like, oh fuck yeah, we're watching Bill Nye. This is like that. We're finally watching a video. You've got
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color.
Sorry. Check. Sorry if that
My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Check. Okay, here we're back.
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
Often determining traits like genes are passed down from parents to offspring,
Check.
often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Okay, that's
Sydney Sweeney has very genes.
So she says, so first of all, Sydney, Ms. Sweeney, I can think of some other things that are passed down from parent to offspring, other than hair color, eye color, and personality. It's called CTE. And that's actually not true. Could you correct my headphones a little bit, George? Thank you. Okay. I like to hear myself talk. I really do. So Sydney Sweeney does this ad, and she goes, genes are passed down from parent to offspring. She sounds like Goebbels. Genes are passed down. She sounds German. So, first of all, every artist in history has made the comparison of genes and genes. Like, that's so fucking stupid. First of all, uncreative. Oh, what if we did a double entendre with genes? Like, you know, that you wear, and then your genetics, your genes, like your genetics. I like that, Johnson. He's like American Eagle CEO. Make that an ad. Hire who's the new hot bitch that's in vogue? Sydney Sweeney? I don't know who that is, but give her a contract. Like, that's, okay, so it's uncreative, number one. Number two, they certainly watched that and knew that people were going to call it crypto. I've talked about this on the show before. They know that people will call it a racist dog whistle. I like to use the phrase crypto-Nazi, which is not everyone that lives in Austin, Texas. Nazis that like crypto. Crypto-Nazi is from the 60s, and it means secret Nazi. So people are calling this ad YM. I'm going to call it crypto-Nazism. When you have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white, hot, dumb bitch who's very talented. She was good in Euphoria, okay? When you do an ad like that, it's hard to defend. And that's like where we're at with so many public figures. It's this is like the Elon Musk autism salute, Nazi salute. But Elon Musk saluted Hitler twice. And then afterwards, when people said, hey, it seems like you saluted Hitler. Would you like to explain that? He goes, oh, I wasn't saluting Hitler. And then you see ads like this. You see ads like this, which are a lot of the things that you see in Nazi rhetoric, which are blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman, great genes. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman equals great genes. What's up?
The cars.
And the cars.
They always include cars.
Yes. Yes. They like Ford. Wasn't Henry Ford friends with Hitler?
Yeah.
So like I don't know what kind of car that is, but either way, the Sydney Sweeney ad, she might as well put on a Nazi cap and be like the Third Reich, the third. Except she's doing vocal fry. It's like Sydney Sweeney doing like this ad. She should just be honest and like do the vocal fry and just do like actual Nazi rhetoric, like the Third Reich, genes are passed down from parent to offspring. The Third Reich will reign for 1,000 years. The third. And then she like looks at the camera and like adjusts her top to get a test. And like, Heil Hitler, genes are passed down from parent to offspring. I don't know any German. But it's American Eagle. That's there with an eagle. You know who else loved eagles? Hitler. Duh. This whole show is crypto-Nazism. I see, if you want to do intelligent, this whole show is actually Nazi propaganda because I'm a Jew spouting out craziness into the world. This whole show is giving white supremacists ammunition because they're going to clip this up and be like, look at how crazy this Jew is. And the crazy thing is, I'm not even Jewish. I'm Irish Catholic. But we got to wrap. I mean, we didn't talk about Epstein. I don't know. I'm just like, you know what? I'm over it. You know what? I never thought it's 2 weeks ago. I was like, never talk about Epstein. We're going to talk about Epstein until the end of the world, until it gets revealed. Ah! Let's move on. I want Chipotle. Now when people talk about Epstein, I'm like, it's hot out. It's just hot. It's not. Let's move on. Move on with your life. Move on. You have to move on. You have to keep going. You have to put one step in front of the other. Because even if the American empire ends, that doesn't mean you have to die. We can all flee to Canada, right? Right, guys? Right? I'm praying. I don't even believe in God, but if American empire ends, I'm going straight to Canada. And in some senses, I kind of hope the American empire ends just so that Americans can feel what it's like to be an illegal immigrant. Like, that would be the ultimate irony, is that like if all of these Appalachian coal miners in Oklahoma that are like, these fucking immigrants are taking our jobs, I want them to go to Canada and be illegal immigrants standing outside of Home Depot in Canada. Imagine you live in Canada and you pull up to the Home Depot, and instead of seeing like a bunch of Hispanic immigrants, you see an fat Oklahoma coal miner like, hey man, I'll do whatever kind of work you got. I'm like, I'm good. I'm going with, hey Jerry, I'm good. I'm going with the Hispanic. Hey Jerry, I'm good. That would be amazing, is to like, the Americans become illegal immigrants, or in Mexico. If the Americans become illegal immigrants in Mexico, and all of the Mexicans are like driving around, like, you know, Mexican citizens are driving around, and they're like, can you believe all these fucking? There's gonna be a whole word for us. They'll call us gringos. You know, maybe we'll be called fatbacks. I'm coining that right now. If Americans become illegal immigrants, people will call us fatbacks, in reference to a word that I will not say today, because I'm a progressive. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show today. SeanReillyComedy.com for all of my tour dates. Austin and Dallas are coming up this year. I'm adding more every day. If you like the show and you're still listening right now, give me a review on Spotify. Follow the show on Spotify. Like the show on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave me a comment on YouTube. It helps with the engagement, helps me get in the algorithm more. And unlike the Third Reich, Sean's show will reign for 1,000 years, or until I get a heart condition from all the caffeine that I consume. See you next week. Stay safe out there.